All right, welcome everyone. I will call the Board of Directors meeting to order. Roll call, Greg, over to you.
Yep, taking roll call and Cindy, you have a quorum. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Does anyone have a conflict of interest to disclose other than the ones we already know about? All right, hearing none, we'll move on. I need a motion to approve the minutes.
So moved.
A second?
Second.
Anyone opposed? All right, great. Minutes are approved. Thank you. So good morning, everyone. Thanks so much for taking the time out of your busy day to be with us. JT is a bit under the weather, so I'll be giving the CE update as well. Thanks to all the hard work of all of our staff, we're operating at a really high level and delivering results that all of us care deeply about. US soccer, as you know, is in an incredibly strong place. And that only happens because we started to work collectively with all of our members to positively transform the landscape for the benefit of millions of players, coaches, referees, and communities across the country. And the best part is, we're not done yet. And the only way we build the future we all want is by continuing to do it together. Before we jump into the agenda, I want to highlight a couple of things. As you all know, I serve on the FIFA Council, but what you may not know is this year we have several US representatives on the FIFA committees. It is great to have so many of our voices impacting the global game. Congratulations to all of you, and thank you for your service. We also, as many of you saw, announced the National Soccer Hall of Fame class for 2026. I had the special opportunity to help surprise Heather O'Reilly a couple of weeks ago, which was an absolute blast. And she is joining an amazing class that includes Kevin Crowe, Tobin Heath, Tony Senna, Chris Wondolowski, and US Soccer's very own Carrie Seitz. Their induction ceremony will be on May 1st in Frisco, and I know we're all looking forward to celebrating with them there. To state the obvious, we are in a defining moment for US soccer. Over the next 6 years, building toward 2031, we have a once in a generation opportunity to align investments, grow participation, and leave a lasting legacy. This is about more than wins on the field. It's about showing the measurable impact soccer has in our communities for our players and for fans everywhere. Every program, every partnership, every initiative we do is about building a long-term foundation for success. We're thinking about players, fans, and communities in everything we touch, and making sure that the decisions we make today set us up for the sustainable growth and achievement. And this includes further strengthening our leadership team. As you saw the announcement this week, Dan Helfrich will be joining US Soccer as Chief Operating Officer starting January 1. Many of you already met him in committee meetings, but for those of you who haven't, Dan comes to us from Deloitte, where he served as chair and CEO of Deloitte Consulting. Dan, welcome to the US Soccer family. On the broader front, we've seen strong revenue growth over the past year, which continues to strengthen our business and the soccer ecosystem. We've made progress, but there is more to do. Success both on and off the field starts with our members, our staff, and our partners. Today, you'll hear from our leaders with updates across our business, which will show how our strategy, our people, and our partners are working together to move US soccer forward. With that, I'll hand it over to Oguchi, who will walk us through the latest on the US way and how our strategy is connecting to real impact on the ground. Oguchi, the floor is yours.
Thanks, Cindy, and good morning to everybody. I wanted to start off with some updates on our 27 national teams, and we have been doing some incredible positive steps across our three environments. Firstly, senior teams' performances, the growth in player pools, and the team age reduction continue to trend in a favorable direction across both the women's and the men's team. Under the leadership and guidance of both Maurizio and Emma, we are in a great place and extremely excited for 2026, 2027, and beyond. So now I actually wanted to brag a little bit about our extended national teams. Our CP women were crowned Intercontinental Cup champions in England this past August. And following that up, our CP men took home the Copa America gold medal in Uruguay, beating Argentina 4-1 in the finals. And so, just for context, this is the first gold medal in 33 years for that team. So, a huge congratulations for their achievement. Our men's and women's deaf team continue to progress at the Deaf Olympics in Japan, where they will both be playing for medals and podium finishes in the next week. The deaf men reaching the semifinals, this is the highest ever finish that they have made. So another incredible milestone to note for them. And of course, the Power National Team's incredible success in Arizona this week when they defeated Brazil, Uruguay, Argentina, Mexico, and Canada to win the America's Cup and qualify for the World Cup next year in Argentina. So a huge congratulations for the successes of our extended national teams. Our youth national teams qualifying and winning the group stages of all FIFA Youth World Cups this year with our women's U17, our men's U17, and our men's U20 to be only one of two nations to do this. However, only to be knocked out on penalties in two of the three tournaments. This shows great consistency and that we continue on the right path, but we all know that success lies in the margins. And in many cases, we recognize that we must do more to start to consistently reach the podium positions in these events. Continued growth and the investment in our youth national team programming, staffing models, and the US way is vital as we look forward. There are no quick fixes. Player development takes time, programming, resources, and the commitment of everybody. And speaking of the USA, regarding that, which as a reconnect is designed to do two things. The first, to establish and execute the performance plans to see our senior national teams consistently challenge for future podium finishes in all major tournaments. And number two, it's our bold collective plan for the future of player development at all levels throughout the country, which in turn will positively impact number one. Every child deserves the opportunity to play soccer and reach their full potential through a simple and clear pathway. We are working hard with this throughout the entire ecosystem. One example of our commitment to the modernization of college soccer through the Next Gen College Soccer Committee, designed to strengthen the pathways from youth to college to pro. I want to thank Dan Helfrich, our new COO, and the Next Gen Committee for their work in this area. Our intention is to do this work throughout the game. And finally, I have to mention how close we are to finalizing arguably the biggest project in US soccer history, the Arthur M. Blank National Training Center. We are only 6 months away from having a home to truly support all the positive changes that are needed to support the whole game. So over to Shell to provide a little bit more context and updates on the NTC.
Thanks, Gooch. It's definitely exciting to see the vision of the US way translating into a real, tangible home for soccer in this country. The Arthur M. Blank US Soccer National Training Center is really taking shape. Construction's moving beautifully. We're on track for our spring 2026 opening. The main building's about 75% complete, including quite a bit of work that we're doing on the inside, from painting walls to installing flooring, and the grounds warehousing building is almost finished. The grass has been laid on all 8 of our southern fields. Sand's been installed on our 2 beach courts, and for the indoor field, the base layer of gravel is complete, with field turf scheduled to be laid in February. Permanent landscaping is also underway, with over 1,000 trees scheduled to be planted by the end of the year. On the operations side, we're making strong progress as well. Operational planning for 2026 is well underway, and the rollout of our scheduling system is in progress, which will help ensure the facility is ready to support our teams, programs, membership, and community initiatives from day one. The work is impressive and the pace as well, and it's energizing to see the dream of the NTC becoming a reality. The facility will not only be a world-class training environment for our athletes, coaches, and referees, but also a central hub for collaboration, innovation, and growth across every part of US soccer. With that, I'll turn it over to David Wright to show how our commercial partners are helping bring the vision to life and supporting the next phase of our growth. Dave?
Thank you, Shell, and good morning, everyone. It's phenomenal to see the Arthur M. Blank U.S. Soccer National Training Center take shape and to see the progress the team is making on the ground. I can tell you wholeheartedly, with the utmost of confidence, the commercial side, we're feeling the same momentum in a very, very real way. The partners who have joined are not just associating their brand to a world-class project. They're genuinely investing in the future of the game, in the long-term vision we have for the sport. As a great example, earlier this month, we announced on Good Morning America that Chobani has joined as the official nutrition partner of U.S. Soccer and as a founding partner of the National Training Center. Their long-term partnership is all about a program called Feeding the Dream. It supports our national teams and expands nutrition education and access for young players in the U.S. Chobani's investment is a great example of the purpose-driven impact U.S. Soccer and the National Training Center is having on communities throughout the country. In addition, you may have seen this week, we announced a handful of new partnerships in Quick Goal, Field Turf, John Deere through Beard Equipment, and True National Gas. These are great brands that join existing national training partners, the likes of Bank of America, Coca-Cola, Deloitte, Henkel, the Home Depot, and Purina, with a handful more to be announced in short order. Beyond the financial resources, these companies bring real expertise and are already starting to impact the quality and operation of the facility. Also worth mentioning, our long-standing partnership with Nike continues to evolve in a very, very meaningful way. We'll share some exciting news about this important partnership development just after the first of the year. When you look at all of these partners together, it's clear that our long-term vision is resonating. The National Training Center is already becoming more than a facility. It's emerging as a platform for innovation, development, and sustained excellence for our entire ecosystem. As this group knows all too well, it's been an incredibly busy year on and off the field. On the heels of the most recent and exciting men's national team matches, the senior national teams in calendar year 25 have played a combined 23 matches beyond official competitions, with 2 more women's national team matches remaining against Italy November 28th and December 1st. That will bring the total number of matches to 25, the most since 2019. So here's a couple fun facts. There have been 5 sellouts and 18 matches with 90% capacity or higher. Nearly 600,000 fans have attended a U.S. senior national team match in 2025, and we've played in 20 different markets, many of which we haven't been to in quite some time. So congrats to all staff for helping to bring these incredible matches to life. I know it's a big, big lift. As we look ahead, we're gearing up for the Beyond the 90 Summit, December 2nd in New York City, which is quickly becoming a must-attend event throughout the industry. This gathering is emerging as a flagship platform designed to align all stakeholders, elevate our commercial and philanthropic ambitions, and reinforce the long-term strategy we've been building together. Our programming this year is especially strong. Landon Donovan, one of the most decorated and influential male players in our history, will serve as host. Obviously, his presence brings great credibility and a ton of excitement. I wanted to highlight just a handful of other great individuals and content that you can expect throughout the day. So first, we'll kick things off with a grand reveal of our men's national team World Cup campaign. So you'll want to be in your seats by 9:30 sharp. Don't be late. Following this reveal, we will transition to a panel featuring women's national team legend Abby Wambach, fresh off a red eye, I believe, Claudia Chagi from NBCU Telemundo, and Suresh Raj from MNC Saatchi, moderated by our very own Catherine Newman, where they will discuss how culture can be the catalyst to transforming moments into movements and movements into legacies. Our very own JT Batson will join David Tyree, President of Marketing, Digital, and Specialized Consumer Client Solutions at Bank of America, to discuss the impact of community, moderated by our Executive Director of Soccer Forward, Lex Shallett. Emma Hayes and Matt Crocker will sit down with Landon to unpack a very exciting discussion around the U.S. way. And then we'll round out the day with an incredible panel featuring Mauricio, Jesus Perez, and Jenny Taft from Fox, where they will discuss preparations and lead up to next summer, as well as announce the final 4 send-off matches prior to the World Cup. And there just may be a handful of celebrity surprises, so stay tuned for that. Safe to say the Beyond the 90 event will be an incredible day of impact as we look to the World Cup. So speaking of World Cup, we are also preparing for a huge fan activation in Times Square in support of the World Cup draw on December 5th. So while Cindy and JT represent in DC, we'll bring that excitement straight to our fans. The event will feature interactive experiences, partner activations, merchandise collabs, and live coverage that puts fans right in the heart of the moment. It's a major opportunity to build momentum as we head towards 26. I want to specifically thank New York, New Jersey 2026 World Cup Host Committee, Visa, and our great partners at MKUltra for helping to bring the vision of our World Cup Draw event to life. So when you put everything together, from the Arthur M. Blank U.S. Soccer National Training Center to the summit to our consistent cadence of World Cup moments, the momentum is crystal clear. There's real belief in where we are going. Our partners see the potential and want to be part of shaping the future of American soccer for generations to come. So with that, this is the perfect moment to turn it over to Leah Burton. Leah will highlight how our donors and philanthropic supporters are fueling the broader vision for our teams, our home, and our legacy. Leah, over to you.
Thanks, Dave. It's really incredible to hear today's updates, and such exciting things are happening, not just on the commercial front, but through the entire federation and organization. And I'm grateful for the chance to share more about U.S. Soccer's first comprehensive fundraising campaign, Behind the Dream, the Campaign for the Future of Soccer in America, which proudly went public yesterday, has been a key project the team and the entire federation has been working on for the past 18 months. And I'd be remiss if I didn't lead by thanking the entire staff who behind the scenes have been working on this throughout that time, on the advancement team, and basically every other division within the federation. This is a truly landmark moment for U.S. Soccer. It represents a public declaration and defining step in how we resource, grow, and sustain our sport for generations to come. The pillars of the campaign embody the strategic aspirations attached to our teams, our home, and our legacy. But this campaign is so much more than just raising funds. It's about telling the story of impact in action and sparking a nationwide movement that matches the ambitions of the opportunities ahead of us. The 2026 Men's World Cup, the 27 and the Road to 31 Women's World Cup, and the 2028 Games, Olympic Games in LA. Behind the Dream positions U.S. Soccer to serve the sport in ways we've never been equipped to before. And importantly, this campaign is the product of true collaboration across the organization and beyond. Many of you have helped shape this work long before it went public, and I want to thank you for that partnership, but more so for your belief. Historically, U.S. Soccer's growth has been fueled by commercial partnerships, sponsorship, ticketing, while our philanthropic efforts focus mainly on select sporting-focused initiatives. And today we're excited that this is an expanded model. Philanthropy is now woven into the foundation of our long-term strategy. It's how top national sports organizations and universities sustain excellence and build lifelong connections. And for U.S. Soccer, it will allow us to act faster, innovate bolder, and dream bigger. Philanthropy brings unique advantages that no other revenue stream can. It gives us immediate resourcing to bridge today's investment to tomorrow's impact. It funds pilot programs and early stage ideas that may be too new or untested for certain environments. And it creates social impact and shared ownership because donors see soccer as a force for good, promoting health, community, and well-being and belonging. Unlike many federations globally, U.S. Soccer receives no governmental funding. And as such, we must use our unique advantage to our benefit. Philanthropy then becomes not just helpful, but an essential part of this story. So Behind the Dream is a 5-year, $250 million campaign to reinvest in our environments. Over the past year and a half, we've quietly built early momentum with transformational partners, donors who have put their real trust in the Federation delivering upon our strategic ambitions, all in service to the game that we love and impacting our entire ecosystem. Because of their belief, we're already seeing impact, from the Arthur M. Blank U.S. Soccer National Training Centers construction, to expanded women's coaching and refereeing pathways, to supporting soccer forwards efforts in communities across our country. And I'm proud to share that we're ahead of schedule with over $166 million raised to date, which represents 66% of our goal. Even more exciting is the diversity of support, with individuals, corporations, foundations all uniting behind soccer as a platform for national impact. And the name behind the dream is quite intentional here. It represents an understanding and a commitment to excellence that touches every level of U.S. soccer. Every player, coach, and referee in America should have the opportunity to reach their full potential. And here is why this is so important. Today, our youth national teams operate at least 40% below many international peers in camps and competitions. Philanthropy is helping to close that gap by expanding training camps, strengthening our scouting efforts, fueling technology that turns our country's size into a competitive advantage. And we're reinvesting and investing more in coaches and refereeing too, building pathways to ensure that the next generation is supported, prepared, and inspired. Stronger teams ripple out to stronger club environments, better coaching, more inclusive pathways, and more American players thriving on the world stage. This same spirit of growth and development is embodied in the first home for soccer in America, the Arthur M. Blank U.S. Soccer National Training Center, our next great leap forward. Every top soccer nation has a central home, and the NTC will unify our identity, culture, and tradition of excellence. Designed for full accessibility, it will host coaching and refereeing education sessions, support our extended national teams, and serve as a hub for collaboration and innovation. Thanks to the leadership from Arthur Blank and early donor support, including naming opportunities and community-focused initiatives like the Yazdani Family Plaza, this home is already coming to life. Continued philanthropy will ensure that it doesn't just exist, but thrives, and endowed support of this facility will provide for long-term financial sustainability. At the same time, we are thinking about the additional long-term impact soccer can have nationwide. 75% of US kids have considered playing soccer and half have played, yet 40% expect to quit within a year due to cost or access barriers. The campaign pillar of our legacy is about changing that. We're investing in school and after-school programs, safe and affordable playing spaces, health and wellness initiatives, leadership pathways for women, girls, and underserved communities. And gifts like Andrew Sawson's to Soccer Forward in New York City show how new philanthropic vehicles empower supporters to create meaningful, lasting impact in communities they care about and in partnership with our member organizations. And at its core, Behind the Dream is about belief. Belief that soccer can define this generation not only by what it achieves on the field, but by how it brings people together. We have the strategy, the momentum, and the extraordinary partners. Now we need the collective commitment of this board, our membership, and our supporters across the country. This is our time, and together we will create the future of soccer in America. However, enough from me. I'll let our campaign video tell the real story.
Soccer isn't just a game. It's a story written by the people behind those on the field. It's a story about the relentless pursuit of something bigger than yourself. It's about knowing that every goal and every victory is built by a team of more than 11. And winning isn't just about lifting trophies. Winning is about opening doors to empower those behind them. It's forming the most inclusive and accessible soccer program in the world. With more national teams than any other country. It's forming stronger teams, starting at the local level. Our dream is to give every player in America a chance to go as far as they possibly can. The Arthur M. Blank U.S. Soccer National Training Center means soccer in America has a place to call home. A home where talent meets opportunity and dreams are built daily. But this future doesn't happen on its own. It takes vision. It takes investment. Your support isn't just funding a team, it's shaping a generation of confident, unstoppable leaders who will succeed on and off the pitch. A legacy our grandchildren and generations to come will celebrate. Because when the next championship is won, it won't just be a victory for those on the field. It will be a victory for the future of soccer in America. For us all. Now you can shape a new era for U.S. soccer. Get behind the dream.
So we hope you enjoyed that. Thank you all again for your incredible support. And now it's my real pleasure to introduce my colleague and partner in crime, Lex Shallot, Executive Director of Soccer Forward.
Thanks, Leah. I don't know about you all, but I'm so jazzed. I'm always jazzed after I see that video. It's so awesome. Congratulations, Leah, and the entire team for that effort. It's inspiring to be part of this. Good morning, everyone. And I'm excited to share the latest from Soccer Forward. Obviously, such a product of what we're doing is a result of the success already of Behind the Dream and the donors behind that and the partners that David Wright mentioned. We are so committed to creating meaningful opportunities for players, coaches, communities across the country as a result of that support. At a national level, we've been hard at work. You'll remember that we introduced the Resource Hub and the Soccer at Schools toolkit in September, and we've actually seen a steady growth and really strong engagement. We have over 120 resources from 50 plus contributors already, including 21 US Soccer members. So thank you everyone so far for your contributions to this incredible collection of work. We've seen thousands of users since launch exploring these platforms. We've had 4,000 visits already from organizations and nearly 40% click-through rate, which means that there's a lot of usage happening and a lot of people are staying on and using these resources to truly understand how they can better their community through soccer. Some of the top areas of demand, which I think are really interesting, but some of which are things that we do already know, are people are looking for places to play. They're looking for more coaching resources specifically to support girls and underserved populations so that they can reach more and make a bigger impact. It's really important to share shout outs here because, as I mentioned, we have over 50 contributors. That means that about 75% of the resources on this hub are crowdsourced from the ecosystem. This is not just US Soccer, this is all of you all helping contribute to this. Mass Youth Soccer has been incredible. They've shared all their coaching development resources. Positive Coaching Alliance have shared their amazing resources around girls. I really encourage you to check that out. CP Soccer, in addition to being incredibly successful on the field, are also doing some amazing work around inclusion, and they've got some great resources there too. There's tons of other partners that are supporting this effort. We've also been hearing directly from members and other community organizations and partners on how they're using the hub. Wyoming Soccer has said it's been really great for their state, specifically around rural regions and how to engage more and grow the game in rural areas as opposed to in an urban setting. The Atlanta World Cup Host Committee has said that they've been getting so many inundated with asks from community soccer groups asking how they can get involved, how they can maximize the World Cup coming next summer. They are now being directed to the Resource Hub, and there will be more activation opportunities and resources around how you can activate around the World Cup that are coming in just a couple of weeks. So now there's a place for anyone and everyone to kind of go and develop what they want to do and how they can make the most of that. So it's a clear sign that we're building something that's relevant, but it's a play it forward approach, guys. This is really everyone supporting this and coming together. So if there's anything that you want to contribute or share with the rest of the ecosystem that you think would be helpful to grow the game or make an impact, please get in touch. We'd love to get those resources up on the hub and continue to make an impact there. We're definitely not slowing down. I mentioned the Soccer at Schools toolkit. We're also launching a Places to Play toolkit, which will have advocacy tools and opportunities for where you can find funding. That will go live early next year, as well as our Coaching for Community toolkit, which will really focus on equipping coaches in community settings to really support the next generation of players and any challenges that they're going through, whether that be mental health or even some food insecurity or confidence and so forth. We also are looking to expand our Soccer at Schools toolkit. So that is very much a starter piece. It's evolving into a larger recreation strategy that Michael Lazar will speak to just after me. But we're really building out a framework of support specifically around soccer meaningfully being played in schools. And that will be rolled out post World Cup next fall and piloted across the country. And we're so excited to be able to provide that support across the board for members and the ecosystem and beyond. We're also pushing forward on initiatives like advancing female health research and education. We're partnering with leading universities and experts there, more to come. But that work will really inform practical tools, education and implementation resources based on best practices within our U.S. women's national team, which we know sets the standard around the world, that will be available to the entire ecosystem to get more girls and women in the game and support them effectively and holistically at every single level. So that is very much underway, and really excited to be sharing that more as it gets developed. And all this is underpinned by a unified narrative that soccer is a force for good. We hear Cindy speak to that every time we open our board meetings. It's something we truly believe. And we're really excited that at next week's summit that Dave mentioned, we'll be sharing our campaign and this movement that will bring that ethos very much to life. And really kind of further enable everyone in our reach to make a case for soccer. And that will include opportunities to activate and make the most of next summer's World Cup, as I mentioned. So as we work on all of these long-term initiatives, these systems change initiatives, which are so important, we're also ensuring that Soccer Forward has a local impact in real time right now through direct investment in communities and showing up ahead of matches in markets around the country. Right now, I'm in the Bay ahead of NWSL Championship this weekend. Congratulations, Commissioner Berman. It's been awesome here, super exciting, so much going on. And yesterday we kicked off a project in Oakland. We partnered with NWSL, of course, Cal North, Oakland Roots and Soul, Oakland Genesis, Oakland Soccer Club, Oakland Unified Public Schools, and FIFA. And thanks to a generous donation from Al Sinsheimer in a first ever collective effort, we're supporting this group in getting more soccer in schools across the community there and more places to play, starting with a FIFA arena that will open up early next year. That's just one example of how Soccer Forward has shown up in communities around the country since February. We have supported in a meaningful way and shown up in over half the states in this country so far. And these programs are such an amazing way for us to directly support those doing great work in communities every day. And we really do take that so seriously. And impact is becoming really and truly apparent, yes, at that scale and national level that I was saying, but also through individual stories that we're getting, whether that be in Tampa, where we partnered with Florida Youth Soccer and Tampa Bay Sports Commission with the support of New York Life, one of our amazing partners, to hold a community event ahead of the men's team amazing win that we all, of course, were so excited about. A parent shared with us that their son's father, who had recently passed away, and he had been dealing with mental health issues. He had even attempted suicide recently. And the opportunity to participate in this program truly revived him and gave him so much joy. And he's going to continue to participate through Florida Youth Soccer. Or in Austin, where we spotlit a program that we're able to support over the next 3 years, thanks to a generous donation from Randy Ramirez. A girl who lacked confidence, was encouraged and inspired by a positive role model, and will now stay in the game. And we actually caught this one live on camera, so I'm excited to just share that here with you all now.
You having fun? You having fun? No? Why not? Say again?
I don't believe myself.
Why not? I make back kicks all the time. And even though sometimes it might not be fun, it's life. You're never gonna be perfect. So don't be hard on yourself when you do a bad kick. Because sometimes I'll tell you a secret. Sometimes the girls are better than the boys. We're scared sometimes. We just don't like to say it. So don't be nervous. It's a game. You know, we're out here. Everybody's supposed to have fun. Of course, go have fun. Go get involved. Madonna, never say you can't do something. You can always do it.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
I love that so much. because not only does it show what a total legend Chris Richards is, I think we can all agree, but it just reminds what drives us and really trying to leverage that superpower of US soccer as a collective, right? As you saw that moment, the crest and those who are wearing it, those who are behind it, and indeed, as Leah said, those who are behind the dream, so to speak, is really our superpower, and we're really trying to use that to make an impact across the country, whether that be through trainings, whether that be with our partners and our donors, whether it be inspiring our fans, whether it be utilizing our media reach. Together, collectively, we can really make sure that this superpower is being maximized to make a difference in communities across the country. And on that note, I'm going to hand it over to Michael Lazar to share how we are evolving into an incredible systems change for the ecosystem. So thank you so much, and over to you, Michael.
Thank you, Lex. It's just amazing to see how Soccer Forward is connecting communities and creating real opportunities for players, coaches, and fans. You know, these partnerships are so inspiring, and the impactful work of Soccer Forward feeds directly into what we want to do with the pathways across the game. As Iguchi said a few minutes ago, the US Way guides our vision, and the Pathway strategy now organizes all of these efforts to help transform soccer in the US. By 2028, our goal is to have a national player pathway that is better connected, that's more accessible, and cohesive. And we want to address barriers like cost and other participation challenges to make sure that the player experience is strong at every stage and at every age. And importantly, we want to win World Cups. Cleaning up the pathway, we will be able to develop more better players, more better coaches, and more better referees all across this country. And as you know, we're not starting from scratch. Over the last several years, our ecosystem review and engagement with our members has helped us shape this strategy. It's been an exciting time, and we're so excited by everyone's enthusiasm and commitment. If we go to the next slide, you'll see a few quotes on the screen, but this is a collaboration that we need all of our members involved in, and we need every single person to chip in. This is how we come together and transform soccer in America. And together, we will move forward and build a better pathway for the future. So thanks to those of you who are leaning in already, and we look forward to engaging with everyone over the coming months and years as we bring this vision to life. Now, the next steps are all about connection and alignment. We're working together to ensure every part of the game, from the grassroots to the professional level, functions seamlessly. This includes stronger links between youth, college, and professional soccer, and creating clear opportunities for members to collaborate and align. Ultimately, this is about delivering a consistent, positive experience for players no matter where they are in their journey. Success will depend on all of us working together. With formal commitments in place, members aligned in collaboration across every part of the ecosystem, we will move the game forward faster and make a bigger impact for players, clubs, and communities in every single part of the nation. And it's clear none of this work would happen without your strong support and with the strategic oversight and careful stewardship of the resources that makes these initiatives possible. So thank you. Please go to our website and you can learn more on the Pathway Strategy landing page. And Sherry, over to you to tell us more about what's going on in the ecosystem.
Thank you, Michael. Hi, everyone. As Michael just shared, building clear pathways for players is only possible when we have strong systems in place to ensure safety, accountability, and good governance. At US Soccer, we are committed to creating an environment where everyone, including players, coaches, referees, volunteers, can thrive safely and confidently in the game that we all love. Starting with safety, our Safe Soccer Clearance program continues to grow. We now have 30 members actively implementing the program, with 4 fully adopted and in market. That's more than 90,000 individuals having completed Safe Soccer Clearance so far. And we continue to onboard additional members while also conducting evidence-based analysis to track our impact and continually improve outcomes across the system. Huge thank you to everyone, and excited about the continued momentum. On the referee abuse prevention front, RAP is well into phase 3, focused on reporting and adjudication processes to strengthen accountability across the game. We encourage all of our members to review the program and continue to provide feedback as soon as possible. Your insights, your engagement ensure that we continue to create safe, fair spaces for our referees. Now, I have the privilege of introducing updates from across our ecosystem from members who are driving meaningful change in adult, youth, and professional soccer. To start from the adult game, please welcome John Mata.
Well, thank you, Sherry, and good morning, everyone. First, before I begin, I'd like to congratulate our national teams on their achievements this year. Great job on all the teams. And also, congratulations to all our Hall of Famers. And I was lucky enough to be in Orlando to also be there with Carrie Seitz when the announcement was made. And it was a great time to be with Carrie when the announcement was made. On the adult front, so the Adult Council and the Adult Commissioners continue to work very closely with U.S. Soccer on quite a few different initiatives that we're working on. Of course, we're always working around the Steinbrecher Cup. One of the big initiatives that we're working on is we're trying to get the USASA Amateur Cup to be controlled by U.S. Soccer once again, and those discussions are continuing, and hopefully we'll get to a good place before year's end. We're also talking with and working with U.S. Soccer on a possibility of a CONCACAF Amateur Championship, hopefully to be kicked off maybe next year, but definitely by 2027, where we would have our U.S. Soccer amateur champion play against maybe Mexico, Canada, and other CONCACAF countries. This past month, I've been in conversation with the amateur championship team from England. It's a team from the Arthurian League. They won the amateur championships for England, and they represented the FA at the UEFA Regions Cup this year. They didn't win it, but they did represent England in the UEFA Regions Cup. And we're in conversations with U.S. Soccer about they want to come to USA next year around the World Cup to play against our amateur championship from the United States. So hopefully we'll see some excitement around that also. On the other front, this week I took the initiative of getting our adult commissioners on board and to take a serious look at adult recreational soccer. We as commissioners and working with U.S. Soccer, we do realize that the big opportunity in adult soccer and growing adult soccer is probably at the recreational stages where, co-ed and five-a-side and working with social leagues. There are millions of soccer players playing adult soccer, unaffiliated throughout the United States. And our goal probably for the next year, working with U.S. Soccer, will be to try to see how we can get many of those unaffiliated players to become members of U.S. Soccer. So with that, I thank everyone for listening, and I'll turn it over back to Sherry.
Thank you, John. And now we'll throw it to Jim Sadowski.
Thank you. And thank you, John. We didn't share notes this morning, but we're aligned, which is good to see. This year, USASA, on the USASA side, we're on track to register 230,000 players, plus or minus. And that's a good sign. We've gotten through our consulting strategic planning phase, and now we're into implementation. And what's that going to look like? We've, for the first time, got a master database of players so we can communicate directly to them. We're about 75% along the way on that. We'll be announcing the site of Veterans Cup very shortly, and I can't spill the milk here too early on that. So be on the lookout for that. We're going to revamp our website so that the website is the place to go, not just to find out, where can I find a team, where can I find a league, how do I get in touch with someone, but how can I start an adult league, and how can I affiliate, or how can I even go watch a match? John is correct in that we want to grow the adult player membership, and the probably single largest growth area is the recreational sphere. The competitive sphere is fully developed, I would say. That doesn't mean we can't grow further there, but one might say it's actually saturated. There's plenty of competitive men's leagues and competitive men's teams to play on, not so much on the women's side, but it's getting there. And in order to grow that recreational sphere, we need to be able to go to those unaffiliated leagues and have something to sell. That's the value proposition. Like what's the value to joining USASA or USSSA or US Club as an adult player? And I'm thrilled to see the commercial side has done a phenomenal job of getting sponsors across the board, airlines, yogurt, banks. What I'd really like to see us is to continue that and get that so that we have a member value membership package. What do you get for becoming a member of US Soccer? And that can be a lot of things. And we've had some initial conversations about what that would look like. Discounts on tickets, early access to tickets, discounts of stuff at the US Soccer store, things like that players can touch and feel, because if we're going to get the unaffiliated leagues, we got to have something to sell them that they can't already get. And they're already getting fields, they're already getting refs, and they're already getting insurance. Lex, I love the word superpower. I haven't heard that in a while, but it's true. We have collectively together, we are a force to be reckoned with in terms of developing the sport and reaching out to players, growing our membership. And it's going to be a great year in 2026 for US Soccer across the board.
Thank you, Jim. Transitioning over to the youth game, we'll start with Tina Rincon.
Awesome, guys. Thank you. So just a couple updates with US Youth Soccer and our member associations. US Youth continues to move towards a member services approach, really trying to support the mission and vision of US Youth Soccer. We've received 2 ITG grants in the past couple years, the Game Format Project and Soccer in Schools. And so we're focusing on those 2 things. The Game Format Project, this is looking at U5 and U6 in 2v2 and 3v3 environments with player-centered, fun soccer environments and providing flexible recommendations that we can give back to US Soccer on future development. And the Soccer in Schools side of things, we are looking at fun, developmentally appropriate, and a games-based approach that aligns with the national PE standards. So we'll continue to get this information and then share it back, obviously. On the ODP front, we're super excited that we're co-creating a unified player assessment and developmental model with our state technical leaders and aligning to the US way and key qualities. We will be piloting that at our ODP interregional events in January 2026, and we're really excited to have that player assessment data that will be used for future coaching education. On the safeguarding side of things, we've collaborated with US Soccer to centralize risk management disqualifications. And obviously, we all know that this is a huge thing because being able to centralize any sort of safeguarding is really exciting. And so just having a membership-wide disqualification list is going to be a huge help. On the youth council side of things, we had a youth council commissioner meeting earlier this month where we discussed the Pathways Project, age formation. Obviously, we're gearing up for that change to happen next year. So making sure that we're providing all sorts of resources to our state associations and to the clubs. And then the continued conversation and everything that's happening with the AED legislation out in California. Huge thank you to Doug Ryan of AYSO for leading that charge. We are super excited because this year the Youth Council will have a team competing in the annual adult versus athlete competition at US Soccer AGM. And so we've had a couple practices to hopefully be able to keep up with you guys. But, thank you to Greg Smith for leading that charge. But really, I think I can say on all of the youth organizations, we are so excited for the pathway strategy and everything that's coming from there and how we can change the landscape. Thanks, Sherry.
Thank you, Tina. Over to you, Rick.
Good morning, everyone. And sometimes I always feel like it's ditto after a lot of the stuff is. But again, a big thank you out to US Soccer and for helping us actually do it. We've continued our community clinic series, again, with the US Ecuador match. And there we actually had over 400 participants in 7 events. But more importantly, we're establishing 3 new what we call continuity programs. To us, it's not just about the clinics. It's actually about what's the stay behind. How do we make sure that soccer stays engaged in those communities? This fall, we were partnered with Hinkle and just partnered again with them in Tampa. And importantly enough, they started a new program in New Jersey in October, and they're planning to start two new programs actually in Connecticut and Florida into the fall. And then a special thank to David and the commercial team for helping us with giving ticket opportunities at schools to tie with free clinics. So the fact that we can actually help and do it. For Lexi, the thanks to is we're actually using the community hub to actually port out to our regions. So the whole idea is we have community-based programs. We want to connect them to the best resources that are there. And as the resource hub comes up, we want to make sure that we do it. And we continue to look for new ways to get people into the game. Building on our legacy, we really want to see is how do we get more kids into the game at earlier levels, and looking at what are different models to do it. Continuing with Clay and some other initiatives. Thanks.
Thank you, Rick. And finally, Mike Colonna.
Good morning, everyone. Certainly looking forward to seeing many of you in New York in a week and a half or so. Just a few updates from US Club Soccer and ECNL. In February, ECNL will host their annual coaching symposium. We expect more than 1,000 attendees, and this adds to more than 50,000 hours of digital coach education that the league has provided in the past 2 years. ECNL's also announced recently their international tournament, which connects some of the best youth teams on merit in the ECNL to compete against some of the best teams in the UK. This fall, US Club Soccer and ECNL work together to launch the Spotlight Games in their younger age groups, the 13s and 14s, in collaboration with ID2. And as a continuation of that, this is our first year of implementing a 3-year expansion plan that dramatically increases the number of opportunities for players throughout the country, scouts, YNT, and effectively forming reserve teams in support of US Way. We're building the largest scouting network possible. This fall, we've scouted nearly 500 games, including Midwest Select games, NPL Finals, National Cup, and of course, ECNL games, and other games within US Club Soccer. And we've compiled more than 1,000 player reports for consideration into our ID2 National Training Camp at the Olympic Training Center in Chula Vista in February. Beyond Talent ID, we are extremely pleased to participate in the Pathways group facilitated by US Soccer. Personally, I'm very encouraged about the work that is being done. I think those of you who are certainly in the youth space should be as well. I think this is an extremely exciting time for all of us, and hopefully our collaboration can get continued results as has been displayed in this meeting already today. And lastly, May will be the 25th anniversary of US Club Soccer. So we are in the process of gathering historical materials. Anybody on the call, anybody listening on YouTube, if you have anything that could help us in the storytelling about the origins and development and the goings-on of US Club Soccer over the last 25 years, I'd love to get those for you so that we can help us with our storytelling efforts. And with that, Sherry, I am back to you.
Thank you so much. Shifting over to our athletes, Whitney will share a few thoughts.
Good morning. I'm happy to report that the Athletes Council continues to meet bi-monthly, with leadership holding meetings in the in-between months. We've also begun holding virtual learning sessions with US Soccer staff in order to help the athletes get deeper updates on specific topics within the ecosystem. This also allows the athletes to provide their feedback based on their respective experiences. We do want to take a minute to shout out US Soccer staff for these learning sessions. They do a great job of keeping us organized and really informed on everything going on, and we appreciate it. So thank you, US Soccer. A small group of the Athletes Council members proudly participated in the selection of the Social Impact Award finalists. So we're very proud of that. And then we wanted to take a minute to say congratulations to all of our national teams currently competing. Gooch did a great job previewing earlier. We've had some incredible results lately. There's a lot to build on, and we are excited for the continued investment in growth and success of all of our players and teams. So thank you.
Thank you, Whitney. And from the professional ranks, Amanda Vandervoort with USL will start.
Great. Hi. Thanks, Sherry. Hi, everyone. Of course, I'm the president of the Gamebridge Super League, but I have the distinct honor with US Soccer representing the entire USL ecosystem. So my updates are inclusive of both the men's and women's youth to pro entire infrastructure. So in the last several months, the USL has continued to hit meaningful milestones across both the men's and women's pathways. Attendance records, championship moments, leadership hires, and growing contributions to our national team programs all point to the momentum building across the system. A couple events that I wanted to highlight. Tomorrow, of course, the USL Championship Final kicks off at noon Eastern on CBS. FC Tulsa is hosting the Pittsburgh Riverhounds at an expected sold-out crowd. And both clubs are chasing their first ever league title after each setting new attendance records at home this season in their conference finals. The League One final last weekend saw One Knox claim both the title and the league attendance record with a sold-out crowd, 7,500 at Covenant Health Park. Gamebridge Super League is in the middle of our season, but I did want to highlight that in October, Dallas Trinity FC welcomed 23,000 fans for a friendly against Club America Femenil at the Texas State Fair, the largest crowd ever to attend a women's professional sporting event in Texas. And on the youth front, December is a busy month for us in the USL in Florida. We've got 16 clubs on their way to the USL Academy Finals and 154 of the top boys and girls teams competing in the Electrolit USL Youth Finals in the month ahead. Couple U.S. soccer connections to highlight. On the men's side, 34 players were called into the U.S. men's national team this year who'd previously played in the USL Championship, League One or League Two, accounting for nearly 48% of all senior national team call-ups in 2025. And 13 active USL Championship players earned call-ups to U.S. Youth National Team cans or ID events in 25. And on the women's side, Ashlyn Puerta, who plays for our Gamebridge Super League club, Sporting Jacks, and is also the Super League's current Golden Boot leader, and Celie Strawn, who's with the Dallas Trinity, both contributed to the US U20 Women's World Cup qualifying efforts. So just a pathway shout out to that point. Speaking of Ashlyn Puerta, the USL Women's Development Pathway, and specifically our W League to Gamebridge Super League connection, 25% of our Gamebridge Super League players are our W League alumni, and many of them are becoming key contributors. And USLW League continues to expand with clubs like Hartford Athletic, Vermont Green FC, and the Portland Cherry Bombs joining to grow the pre-professional pathway in their communities. Sherry, that's all I got. Back to you.
Thank you so much. Now over to Jessica Berman from NWSL.
Hi, everyone. Coming to you live from the Bay Area, where we are hosting our championship tomorrow. The Washington Spirit will be playing Gotham FC, and we expect it to be an incredibly competitive match, as were all of our playoff matches across the quarters and semis. A couple of highlights from our season. First, it's been another record-breaking season with new NWSL and all of professional women's sports record attendance at Oracle Park here in San Francisco, with close to 41,000 people. We have set viewership records across our season, with viewership up 20% on linear TV and digital viewership up 30%. We've announced a new advisory board where we're tapping into the celebrity and influential investors across all of our clubs. That includes people like Magic Johnson and Eli Manning and Alex Morgan, Elizabeth Banks, and others. We have more than half of our league who either have or are in the process of building purpose-built training facilities for our incredible athletes. We announced yet another expansion team in Atlanta. That's going to be Team 17 that will be joining our league in 2028. And we're incredibly excited about both the market as well as the ownership group. Of course, we heard so much about Arthur Blank in the context of the National Training Center and all of his incredible philanthropy for U.S. soccer more broadly. And now he has, in his words, completed his trifecta of owning a men's team, a team in the NWSL, and his landmark and historic investment in U.S. soccer. And then finally, just to highlight two things we're really proud of as it relates to the players in our league. First, we've made a really intentional effort to reposition our league as a global league, and we have representation from players from 43 countries across our league. Of course, we know this is really important as the sport becomes more popular and global, but also because we think this really helps the U.S. players and the U.S. women's national team players to be able to have the opportunity to compete with and against players who come from different backgrounds and play different styles. And finally, we lead the world of professional women's sports for female athletes and moms. We launched our foundation that's going to be working very closely with Lex and her team at Soccer Forward on medical research and innovation for moms and unique medical challenges for athletic performance for women. We have close to 24 players who either have their own children or are pregnant in our league. And so we know that we're going to have an opportunity to pave the way for the future so that women don't have to choose between being a mom and being a professional athlete. That's all we got. We hope you all tune in tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Eastern on CBS for our NWSL Championship. Thank you, Sherry.
Thank you, Jessica. And finally, over to MLS and Don Garber.
Thank you very much. And I want to start by thanking the Federation and congratulating JT and Cindy and all the staff, both from a leadership perspective and all the way down through the entire organization. What you all have achieved for the last few years is really spectacular. I think we are, as a federation, the role model, the North Star, the shining light for global soccer, and it's just really great to see all the progress and see all the success, and a heartfelt congrats from all of us. And I want to really congratulate all the professional leagues at all levels for great seasons. Jessica, it's so exciting to see what's happening over with the NWSL, and looking forward to a great final in the Bay Area. And Amanda, to you and everybody at the USL at all levels. As most of you probably know, MLS celebrated its 30th year this year, and it's a year where just kind of coincidentally, we welcomed our 30th team in San Diego. That's been really successful both on and off the field, including a sold-out playoff game that they'll have on Monday. And I think, as most everybody, both watching and on the Zoom know, our league was born out of the 1994 World Cup with the goal of building a thriving men's first division league that would build a foundation for the sport, that would inspire fans and create job opportunities, both as players and then post-career for many, many, many players. And then, as importantly, and particularly when you hear the great progress of Soccer Forward to serve communities, both from a team level, from a club foundational level, and a player level, and a multitude of different programs. And we're so proud of that. And I don't think the founders of the league, Robert Kraft and Lamar Hunt, Phil Anschutz, really would have imagined that when they created the plan for MLS, that was that commitment coming out of '94, that, sitting here 30 years later, that the league would be where it is today. But, we, as all good businesses do, looking backwards is not focus. What the focus is to look at the next 30 years and doing all that we can to make MLS one of the top leagues in the world. We have top federation in the world. We ought to have a top Division I men's league, and we're appropriately calling that plan MLS 3.0, and made some great announcements over the past week that were many years in development. We will move to the international calendar, perhaps as early as the 2027 season. That'll allow us to align with transfer windows, to have our playoffs in the spring, to be a leader in how we're scheduling our games and having our competitive format. And I think you'll see more work done on revising that format, perhaps including our playoffs. We are revising our media partnership with Apple to be available to anybody that has an Apple TV subscription. All of our 600 games, as they have been over the last number of years, will be broadcast globally. And for those of you who follow the media business, with all of the disruption going on with local television, having every game broadcast the same way It's been a big priority for us. We have a great playoff season going on. We've got games in Vancouver this weekend, and Philly and Cincinnati. Vancouver is sold out with 54,000 fans. San Diego sold out. Philly sold out. Cincinnati and their beautiful new stadium is sold out, leading up to our MLS Cup, which will be the first weekend in December. And as last part of our plan is to continue and really close the loop on investing in soccer stadiums. For those of you that are not aware, we will open new soccer stadiums in Miami next spring, in New York City in 2027, and downtown Chicago in 2028. These 3 stadiums alone represent an investment of pretty close to $3 billion. And that investment gives us I love that word, the superpower to invest in community, as all of our clubs will do, from their youth programs all the way through to the first team. And I think when Lex showed that Soccer Forward event in Austin, that's just a great example of the Federation working with our team for the ATX Foundation. Was proud to be a participant in that great activity. We're going to continue our investment in player development, with today every MLS club has a development facility that I believe rivals the great facilities around the world. Our MLS Next Pro League will continue to grow in the years ahead, not just with our 30 teams, but with now 7 independent teams and a new one that was just launched in Long Island that will begin play in 2027. And we're going to continue to invest in MLS Next. Now that's got 43,000 elite players. All this we all know has a great impact on the U.S. men's national team. A great shout out to Mauricio, and so proud of the win against Uruguay this past week, where every goal was scored by players that came out of an MLS Academy program and were MLS homegrowns, and all but one of the U20s and U17 national team players also came through MLS academies. And if you think about where we are today versus where we were 10, 15 years ago, where our clubs were just developing academies, I think our best days collectively are still ahead. Lastly, I want to give a shout out to 2 MLS players that have been great members of the U.S. men's national team and longtime MLS standouts, Brad Guzan and Darlington Nagbe. Both players represent everything that is great about our sport on and off the field. And I want to also congratulate 2 terrific MLS players, Tony Senna and Chris Wondolowski, for their Hall of Fame induction. So obviously the year ahead in 2026 is probably the most important year so far in U.S. soccer history. We look forward to working with all of you to ensure that the upcoming Men's World Cup will leave a great legacy in establishing a great runway to the Olympics and then the Women's World Cup in 2031. So congrats and thanks to everybody.
Thank you, Don, and thank you all. I think these updates reflect incredible alignment and commitment across U.S. Soccer and our member organizations, and your leadership and dedication continue to drive meaningful progress across every level of soccer in this country. It's inspiring to see how safety, governance, pathways, collaboration are coming together to strengthen our game and create lasting impact for players, coaches, referees, and communities. Now, to bring our session to a close, here's Cindy.
Thanks, Sherry, and thanks everyone for all the updates. You all are doing great work, and the good news is there's still much more to do and so many more opportunities ahead of us. So our next board meeting will be at our AGM in February. So I look forward to seeing you all in Atlanta. And thanks for joining today. And with that, I will bring this meeting to a close. We will start executive session right away. So I'll see you soon on that one. Thanks, everyone.